If the government has the power of the military, they got the power of the big red button, they got the power of the government, they got the power of regulational control, they've got the most power of anybody except the people that control the government, which is another layer of deception. If crypto can do everything you're saying it can do, you know damn well they're going to do everything they can do to stop that from happening. And then if it does happen, they'll corrupt the shit out of that too. So how do we protect against that?
Okay, this is going to be a detailed answer.
Good, I like it.
So firstly, for anybody listening, and I'm going to generalize here, and this may not be the mental model that everybody has, but it'll be a good portion of people.
Okay.
Is that when you think about cryptocurrency in general, in your mind, on one side, you've probably got normal world, and on the other side, you've got cryptocurrency world. They're like separate things. And within cryptocurrency world, Bitcoin is a small part, probably, in your mind. Mm-hmm. That's totally wrong. So put it in the bin.
Okay, good.
The right mental model is normal world or fiat world on one side, of which cryptocurrency is a part. And on the other side, you've got Bitcoin. And that's it. So cryptocurrency is just fiat. It's just
another form of it.
Every cryptocurrency, you should think about it like this. If it's not Bitcoin, it's somewhere on the spectrum of fraud to speculative technology looking for product market fit. Somewhere on that spectrum. Because it's centralized, it has a founder or a CEO or somebody with a level of control. Okay, it is not Bitcoin. It is just so removed from Bitcoin. It shares some technical overlap because they've taken elements of Bitcoin and applied them. But most cryptocurrencies don't need to exist. The vast majority don't need to exist. They can be done with a database. They exist to enrich the founders, or to sell an idea, or as a speculative technology, trying to find some credibility and some fit. So think about them as unregulated penny stocks, and expect to lose all your money. They are all going to zero. They are all going to zero when measured in Bitcoin.
Yes, but what doesn't go to zero is how much of the money the founders of the companies put in their pockets while pretending to start this, fake meat company or bug-based food company or vaccine company, all the shit Bill Gates is up to every day so beautifully.
Well, again, that's all fiat. A lot of this is enabled by the money printer. Right? It distorts. By one step removed. It's because they have access to this. And so just consider all cryptocurrency. This is not Bitcoin. It's something to ignore. Now, Bitcoin is different.
Yeah, I want to hear this. I need this lesson again.
All right. So we think about perfect money, as we've talked about before. You've already said it needs to be beyond human control.
Yeah,
it needs to be completely separated. So nobody should be able to control it.
And that includes, by the way, it has to be beyond AI control.
Which it is. And so it is rules without rulers. And so just by owning Bitcoin doesn't give you any special privilege. You are a participant.
Like having carrots doesn't give you a special privilege.
Yeah, I mean, you have some carrots and they might become, useful for exchange in the future, but it doesn't give you any control over the production of carrots or anybody else's usage of carrots. And so perfect money needs to be beyond anybody's control. It needs to be fixed in supply in the long run. And the production of it needs to be linked to the proof of work. You need to do work to bring more Bitcoin into existence. In the same way that to bring more gold into supply, you have to do the work. But you do the work really inefficiently.
How do you fix something in supply, though? I don't mean to interject, but I don't want to get lost. So I have to get clarification. So because if I'm lost, a lot of people will get lost. So how do you fix something in, I think you said supply, if I heard right?
Yeah, so for Bitcoin, it's rules without rulers. It's open source code that the whole world can see. You can verify yourself. And the total supply of Bitcoin that will ever exist is 21 million. And each Bitcoin can be split into 100 million parts. In the same way that $1 can be split into 100 cents. One Bitcoin can be split into 100 million. So, when you see the price of Bitcoin on the TV and it's $100,000, that's for one Bitcoin. But you can buy 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. You could buy 1,000 Satoshis for $1. And so Satoshis to Bitcoin is like cents to the dollar, And so it's fixed in supply programmatically. There is a monetary policy of Bitcoin that is known for the next 120 years. Every 4 years, the production rate of Bitcoin halves, and it will be capped at 21 million. And so you probably heard of Bitcoin mining.
Just, I think, through you.
Yeah, okay. Well, in the same way as gold companies would expend energy getting gold out the ground. So gold is like really inefficient energy money. Bitcoin is 100% efficient energy money. You have anybody who wants to compete globally expending electrical energy to guess a random number effectively. And every 10 minutes, on average, somebody guesses the right number. And you think, well, what's the point of that?
Sounds like a lottery.
It is a lottery, but it's a lottery where the amount of energy you contribute to the network determines your percentage of winning the lottery. But it's a free market. So everybody globally can compete to guess this random number every 10 minutes. And whoever guesses the right number gets rewarded with a certain amount of Bitcoin, which halves every 4 years. And you probably think, well, that's pointless. Well, why would you spend all that energy doing this? But it secures the monetary network. Because you have so many people competing and so much energy being competing for this, nobody has any advantage over anybody else other than the amount of energy you can contribute. And so every 10 minutes, when that number is found, all the transactions that people want to do to send to each other effectively get cemented in. That random number cements that transaction block onto the history of all the blocks. All the payments go, and then the process repeats. So every payment that's ever been made in Bitcoin is viewable to everybody, but controlled by nobody, but secured by the world's energy in a total free market process. And so the more energy that's used, the more secure the history is, because nobody can go and rewrite it. The more decentralized the energy production or the competition globally means it's a decentralized, secure network. The amount of energy used to secure the network is beyond the reach of any combination of nation states to outcompete it.
Because it's really secured by everybody involved, isn't it? Who came up with this idea?
So Satoshi Nakamoto released a white paper, basically a PDF on an email in 2008, and he sent it to a cryptographer's email list. And he said, and you can go and read the white paper. It's fantastic. It's only 4 or 5 pages long, and from there, we are on a path for Bitcoin to represent the entire value of the world. To go from an email
Yeah.
representing the entire value of the world that's the path we're on, because
Who
this
is this guy? I need to know more about this person.
Okay, so they disappeared. So they worked on it for 2 years. We don't know if it's single person, man, woman, group. They released the open source code. Everybody can run it on the machine. Everyone can audit it. There's lots of people who develop it and push changes and these sorts of things and try and improve it over time. But it's all optional. It's an optional network for everybody to join. And he was the only one mining it to start with. And so he had lots of Bitcoin, but he's never spent them. He's never even moved them, ever. And so people suspect they are dead.
Is this a Japanese person?
Don't think so. I mean,
Satoshi sounds Japanese.
Yeah, but I think it's a pseudonym. I think there's lots of writings on, forums and the paper itself, interacting with other developers and things over time. Yeah, I think it's commonly understood or believed that they're native English speaking. But
should we be concerned about this
No.
invisibility, or do you think it's just people trying to protect themselves from what happens to anybody that comes up with like free energy devices or cancer cures? They disappear.
Well, the reason in the very first block that was mined, he left a message which was a headline from the Times on the 3rd of January 2009. All it said was, "Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for the banks." That was written in the very first block, in the Genesis block. And so this money was created to separate money and state. It removes the big red button from the governments, and they can't stop it. Nobody can stop it. Nobody can control it. And it's decentralized. So you think about Bitcoin as being neutral money for the world, decentralized, beyond the control of anybody, censorship resistant. Nobody can stop you sending it or receiving it from anyone at any time. No one can prove you have it unless you're willing to demonstrate it to them. You could even hold it in your head as 12 words.
How do you verify it then if no one can prove you have it? Like if you have gold currency as a standard, you can verify it, but you can't verify this, yet you said the ledger's open, so I'm confused.
The ledger is open for everybody to see. You can see the history of every Bitcoin. Every Bitcoin's entire history is open to everybody in a pseudonymous way. But no one's names are associated with the addresses for where these Bitcoins sit. So you can buy Bitcoin, have it. You don't tell anybody. You don't have to volunteer the information as to which address is yours. Nobody can prove you still have access to it. No one can stop you sending or receiving it. It's the only thing you can truly own. Everything else can be taken away from you. Bitcoin is beyond seizure. It is beyond censorship. It's the only thing. Everything else exists in the fiat system. Everything else requires a promise or some level of trust. Bitcoin requires no trust of anybody.
How do you know for sure that it exists, though?
Because there's an open ledger and you have your private key, which can be represented by 12 simple words. And that key allows you to move that Bitcoin on the ledger and transfer the ownership to somebody else. The Bitcoin doesn't move. It's still in the ledger, just you're passing effectively the ability to control that part of the ledger to somebody else. You have a network of nodes all around the world run by tens of thousands of people who don't know each other, who have copies of the ledger on their machines. And so every 10 minutes, when the miners guess the number, they tell all the nodes, they've guessed the number, the nodes validate that it's correct, they validate all the transactions, they update their ledger, and everyone's got a copy of the ledger again. It's incorruptible.
So that's the protection strategy? Is that what the kind of what I thought was a lottery before? Is that part of the
separation of
protective
duties.
strategy?
I would consider it a separation of duties, Paul. The nodes, think about the nodes as being who maintains the ledger and the miners who secures changes to the ledger.